name that only has touched my tongue one time before, and now that I have become a prophet and speaker of truth in the downfall of this product, I must speak on it once more. Day of Dragons is buns.
Jokes aside, last time I talked about this game, I think it has about 70,000 views by now. So I'm gonna spit some more shit on it, and you guys are gonna like it. First off, I just want to say this game is the devil incarnate and personification of corporate greed. It is a vessel to sell shit. It's the equivalent of Marvel making every hero have a different costume every single time they appear on screen, just for the sole purpose of selling as many toys as possible. Day of Dragons puts out actual content once a millennia, and in between doing so, they spew random bullshit in their announcements. Their development news channel is just filled to the brim with them announcing patches that haven't come yet. Oh, we're still working on this for this patch. Oh, so this is taking a while, so this patch is going to be delayed. The big 1.0 launch update that they were planning for over a year that was going to include multiple dragons, like a shitload of map changes, balance changes, more AI, a new Elder system, or at least a new way to progress to Elder, and a whole bunch of shit. This update was going to be huge. And what did they do? They delayed it. They delayed it again. They delayed it repeatedly. All their announcements were just like, okay, we're working on this. Might take a while. Okay, this patch is coming soon. Might take a while. 90% of the shit they spew in there is them just announcing shit that's gonna happen. And you might be saying, hey, but you play the Isle. They do the exact same shit over there. The Isle takes a long ass fucking time too, and I will very much admit that. The Isle is so fucking annoying. But you know one thing that I'm gonna get into that the Isle doesn't fucking do? Charge $10 fucking for a playable, and then proceed to tell everybody, hey, you can still play the fucking creature. The people that pay for the dragon don't have any more content than the people that don't, because the people that don't buy it can get nested in by the people who did, so it works out for everybody. That is such a load of fucking bullshit. Saying that everybody has access to a creature just because they can get nested in by it, even though it's a DLC playable, is such a fucking band-aid. Imagine the Isle drops Serato and it costs $9.99, and then Afterthought's like, you don't need to buy it to play it, you can get nested in. Do you know how bullshit that is? And for the record, I'm not against games having DLCs and microtransactions. It's whatever. This isn't a single player game that you're buying DLC for. This is a multiplayer reliant ecosystem, and now that multiplayer ecosystem is completely reliant on some people spending $9.99 on a DLC fucking dragon. Oh, let's not add any DLC skin packs. Let's just lock some of the playables behind DLC, so people have to buy that in order to fill our ecosystem in our game, in order to give the rest of the players access to be able to play it at all. But HalfSlyced, they're an indie developer that doesn't have a lot of money, so they need the extra cash to be able to pay their developers and fund the game's progress. Wanna know what other fucking games were indie developed with little to zero fucking money? Stardew Valley, Minecraft, Celeste, Inscription, The Isle. When it first came out in 2015, people made YouTube videos on it. It blew up. It's probably sold a few million copies by now. And the only thing that Afterthought has ever made people pay for is the game itself. They have not sold any DLC, and big fucking shocker, if you make a good fucking game, people will actually pay for it, and they will play it. When the Isle of Rima became public, it had an average of 113 players. 256 was the peak. People were posting this game like crazy, because first of all, it was something that people had never seen before besides like Stomping Lands. They've had a pretty consistent player base ever since they have came out. This game, when it came out, was thriving off of the fact IGP and Thomnia were posting about this game, and it gave it a lot of publicity. A lot of people were checking it out, and a lot of people were paying the $20 to play this game. And then you compare that to Day of Dragons, which Day of Dragons had a significantly higher chance of blowing up. Day of Dragons launched in a mass hurdle of creature survival games, whether it's like small games on Roblox, Beasts of Bermuda, Path of Titans. At this point, there was already a huge culmination of a community supporting these games. Day of Dragons launched a demo that was completely store-bought assets as a concept demo of what a game like that could be, and people fell in love with it. It reached a peak of 1,063 players and an average of 250. They were much better off. They got more publicity than the Isle did when it first came out, and yet they fumbled the bag. They got less than 100 players on average for over a year until July 2021, where it started averaging at least a few hundred people every day. And at this point, they were actually adding some content to the game. They had the Acid Drake relatively early in the time span. There was one free-to-play dragon, and then the Acid Drake was DLC. And if you have two playables in a game to choose from, and one of them is DLC, that is pretty fucking low. They have been in development from 2019, and the lead developer himself, Jayo, has confirmed that he had been working on this so-called demo 2 years prior to 2019. So going off of his timeline, the game has been in development for at least 6 or 7 years now, and there has been almost no content to show for 7 years. The Isle Legacy had 10 times the amount of content than Day of Dragons does in the first 5 years of development. So moving on to their Discord, surprisingly I haven't been banned yet, because apparently the lead developer bans YouTubers from playing the game because he finds their Steam ID and then completely blocks them from even playing the game. So fortunately I haven't been banned on the game and in the Discord. So let's take a look. So if any of you have been actually keeping up on this game, you know they were hyping the big 1.0 update for quite a long time. And then delay after delay after delay, they finally released it in February. But that was right before they decided to completely split up the massive update into 4 huge different parts, which is fine for bugs and shit, but these hotfixes also include the content that was supposed to be for the update itself. They scheduled 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5 that they gave every single one of these official release dates for, and then once again postponed every single one. Now they're indefinitely delayed until further notice, with literally none of this content probably even close to being in the game, so I don't know what the hell they were thinking. This has to be some sort of strategy to stretch the hell out of the game's life cycle so they can sell more skins, DLCs, stretch the Patreon support. This game is just a Trojan horse for greed and manipulation to their community. They just came out with the Blitz Striker last month, which is once again a DLC creature that you have to pay for. And to be fair, the patches for each update come relatively soon, and I'll give them credit where credit is due. They are much more transparent than the Isle, for sure. Like, they're constantly showing stuff off, announcing what they're working on. I mean, 90% of the shit that they show off is skins, so I guess that's fine. This is good, a bunch of bug fixes, quality of life issues. Here they are promoting their Patreon. They do stuff like this where they keep their community active with events and such, which is pretty cool. Pumpkin carving contest, that's awesome. But then here is where I get pretty fucking annoyed. They are selling STL printable posed models of the Blitz Striker for sale on their Patreon. So not only are they selling this creature in-game for $9.99 just for you to be able to play it, but they're selling a 3D printable posed model of the creature they made a DLC for so they can sell that as well. You wouldn't have to worry about making so much money for your fucking game if your game was good and people would actually buy the game. Because last time I checked, there are no other dragon survival games. This is the only one. And I know there's a few more. I'm not stupid, but like none of them come close to the progress they made in Day of Dragons, and the bar is really fucking low. Just to keep that clear. At least until Wings of Dawn comes out, because I'm actually quite excited for that. It looks very promising, but I'll keep you updated on that. But back to Day of Dragons, like, what is this, dude? This is disgusting. Here they are for a trailer for update 1.2 that's not out yet. It doesn't have a release date, and they're making a trailer for it. Usually when you see a movie trailer or a game trailer, it has a release date, or they drop a trailer on the day of release. So what is this trailer for? From their track record, them announcing shit or making a trailer for something doesn't mean anything. Baiting their community into thinking they're getting content just for the few next posts be them promoting their Patreon and selling a 3D printable posed model for you to print yourself at home on top of the $9.99 you had to pay if you actually wanted to play this thing in game. If you donate $300 to their Patreon in total, so you get a cosmetic, another cosmetic, a lifetime Patreon role, essentially. You just get a Patreon role tag in their fucking Discord. For $200, you get a skin, an emote, and a plush. That's the most generous thing they have on here is a plush. How old do they think their audience is? Help find all the dragons and their eggs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, what is this? Who is this for? And then not too far up, we have a crossword puzzle, whatever you want to call this thing. I'm surprised you don't have to pay to play this puzzle. Oh wow, here's them advertising the Blitzstriker DLC dragon for $9.99. I just need you to, like, soak this in, okay? This is a pre-purchase for the DLC. You're pre-ordering this DLC dragon. It is currently out now, but at the time of this post, you cannot play it. I'm not giving them shit for keeping their community engaged, but the fact that they're spending so much time, like, advertising their Patreon and selling DLCs and then selling 3D printable models that you have to print yourself. The model that they have available to print is a DLC dragon that you have to buy on top of that is crazy. It's okay to like this game, okay? I'm not saying you can't play this game or you can't enjoy playing this game. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying the people that love playing this game are in love with the premise and they're in love with the potential that the game has. And if they genuinely enjoy the state that the game is in and they enjoy how the developers are handling their game, then they have no fucking clue what is going on and their bar is extremely low. Overall, I just want to wish Day of Dragons players the best. Hopefully they get the game they want in the future. Hopefully Day of Dragons makes a turnaround, a U-Haul, you know, they actually add shit. Or if Day of Dragons doesn't work out, Wings of Dawn is right around the corner, and when that comes out, hopefully that's not a hot steaming pile of ass. So I said what I said, and I'll see you. Peace.